they don't have maybe the opportunity to explore the personality of Richard off stage, but they often on stage and also on skits on social media. That's what they carry, and yeah, it's not different from all of us. I mean, even for you, don't expect you to be or lifting heavy lifts in the gym early in the morning. So this is what happens, like when people don't really tend to have a deeper thought about an individual. But I think, I mean, if for me, I don't have a definition of my private or personal or work life. It's kind of very intertwined, and of course, I try to keep as much distance, keep the mystery of me. I tend to be very much distanced from people, but I love crowds as well. So, and also maybe the other thing that you guys don't know, I'm very crowd phobic. So when there are too many people, I freak out. So I tend to be always hiding in the communities. That's why I'm always tending to be backstage when we have festivals, because I freak out when I see too many people or between too many people. But yeah, that's a personality. It's something we work on. But I think being what people expect of you, it's really difficult sometimes if you don't listen and you just see them and give them form your own opinion, best you know or hear, or which I tend to ignore all the time. I think it's also good as you're building the brand of yourself to not to always be distracted by what you hear or know or hear or feel that people are saying or understanding of you, what's on your line of work. And that's why for me, that's what I tend to do most of the time.
That's so true. Well, thank you so much, Faisal, for that one. Richard, you've heard from Faisal. Yeah. For a man who organizes festivals, is crowdphobic. I don't understand that.
I think it was his way of psychologically fighting back the phobia.
The phobia. Well, thank you very much, everybody who so far sent in their comments. And I don't know why you guys are always sending WhatsApp messages or Facebook messages. I want you guys to comment on the show straight, live, there and then. Send us your kisses and disses. We're very much welcoming them. Richard.
Yes.
I think you can see where we're coming from. The topic today is about creativity for business success. And I think you've already tackled a little bit of it, that the creativity, the things we have talked about right now, is something that people need to start thinking about. But I want to take you straight to my next question, which is, what is the difference between creativity and innovation, given the background of people's opinion about who Richard is, about who Faisal is, about who Okila is, about who any other, creative mind is? I bring the question to mind, what is the difference between creativity and innovation? Because I think sometimes we mix this thing, and you've said it in a very nice way. You said that as creative people, we were doing a disservice to ourselves. We're being one and the same on stage.
Yes.
And yet we're supposed to be completely different. On television, where I am more comfortable, they say that the character on television is really different from the character you're going to meet on the street. And if you take the person on television to be the person you're going to meet on the street, you're going to be really shocked. And so is on the radio.
Yes.
But, dive into it. What is the difference between creativity and innovation when we're talking about success brought about by creativity in business?
That's a tricky question. But if you asked me to put it in one sentence, I'd say all innovation is creativity.
Okay.
But not all creativity is innovative.
Yes. Now you see, that is where it becomes difficult. Yes, you need to expound on that bit, because there's a great line in between there.
Because you need a creative mind behind every innovation. There has to be. I think they are cousins. They are half brothers. Same father, different mother. Because innovation will be mothered by the need to fill a gap. While creativity can keep this new innovation running and growing in itself as an innovation. Because you innovate. The moment you innovate, this is an innovation. This here,
Yeah.
this here, what you did, because I've been following.
Yes.
It's an innovation and it is going to grow. You
Yeah.
can tell something that is going to grow.
Yeah.
HTV is an innovation,
Yeah.
but it needs constant refreshment of on a creative angle.
Yes.
You know, so I don't think you can really pull them apart.
Yeah.
They are together. Creativity is the oil
That keeps running it.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, we're talking about creativity for business success in Uganda. It's a part that people don't understand very well. It's a part that either the corporates don't understand very well, or the consumers of the products that are in the market don't understand very well. And the typical case in point is buy Uganda, build Uganda, boo-boo. It's completely confused. We don't understand the line between creative mind.
That is a very long conversation. But to pick from where you are,
yes,
on the corporates and
yes,
how
yes,
they don't get it. Man, you see, sometimes you look at the problems.
Yes, yeah.
When the problem has arose.
Yeah.
But man, we have a backlog of conditioning, yes, and tuning.
Wow.
You know, we've come from a system that has taught us that this has to be passed like this. Yeah. You know, this is when you attain success. Mm-hmm. Your success is based on when you achieve highly in these parameters. Mm-hmm. You get it? Mm-hmm. In these parameters. So we were told to operate, you know, in certain parameters, that it becomes so okay for you not to stand out.
Wow. You're preconditioned to think that way, and that's it.
Yes. Until by the time you realize that, man, you could have done better, is when you are bored of routine. Because these corporates wake up to practice almost the same thing.
A friend of mine said, until the day a brand manager is fired from his job, that's the day he started looking for a sheet of paper to write his notes or to print his CV. That's when he realized he has never bought a ream of paper. He didn't know how much it costs. He didn't know how much a pen costs. Then he goes to Nasaro to look for it. I
think the
reality is distracting. Yes.
The best company out of entertainment,
yes,
to really look at, to fully understand,
yes,
why creativity is important in business,
yes,
is Virgin.
Yes.
Okay, the conglomerate of businesses of, you know, Virgin, the umbrella of those businesses.
Yes, yes.
Mr. Richard Branson.
Yes.
That's when you know if there is no creativity, he considers the business slagging.
Wow. Faizo Chiwewa, what is the difference between creativity and innovation? I mean, a lot of people think that when you're programming a festival, it's one and the same, and that is it. And Richard has just given us a very nice perspective. But over to you, Faizo. What is the difference between creativity and innovation?
Yeah, I mean, Richard, creativity is like the fuel, and then innovation is the engine that needs that fuel to keep on, moving as well. Service or is this of finding new ways or new means of keeping, But the thin line between innovation and creativity is really up, I think. Whereas creativity could be just an enhancement of a space. You can, for example, the innovation, as Richard said, that HTV is an innovation. And the creative part of it is the fact that you have to continue creating new programs that are exciting for your followers and your audience. And I think that's the creative process, but the innovation has been done. But what makes innovation, what makes a product to be considered innovative? It's time, the test of time, and the fact that it has to be rendered relevant or useful to the target market or to the target audience. If you innovate a car and no one buys or no one needs to drive it, then it's not a very innovative idea. But you can have a car that you can work with in terms of continuing the process of revamping it, changing the color, or giving it a different style or a different design. It happens all the time, but you're not inventing a new car. You are basically creatively enhancing its look. So we always see innovation as a far process that has to be given time and also approved for the purpose, as well as creativity is the continuation of making sure that things keep exciting people, things keep being different, but also adding on to what is already there.
Richard, you've heard what Faisal said. Let's just get straight to how do we practice creativity? Given the context we have now given to it, the flesh we've given to it, for the businesses in Uganda to be more successful?
First, I think one of the key things is to adopt the mindset that nothing can limit imagination.
Yeah.
Imagination cannot be boxed up. It can't be put in it. You have to continuously imagine things better.
Yeah.
Because if you do not imagine them better, there's no now spark for creativity.
Yeah.
For example, we when we were starting off, we were trained actors, writers, directors. We had nowhere to get employment.
Wow.
We definitely, the natural thing to do was to run to theaters, to Bat Valley, National Theatre, look for, where you can be.
There are only 3 theaters, and we're channeling out thousands of people from universities every single year.
And by the way, by the time we finished, I think now conventional type of theatre ensembles were starting to die out slowly. Yeah, so we had like say 3 or 4 that were major. We had the Afri Talent, Eboni's, Bakaimbira, and once in a while Alex Mukulu and a few other creators there. So there was no clear place to be accommodated.
Yeah. Because
they almost have enough. So lucky enough, there was Philip Luswata who tried to imagine
things.
Imagine something new. Imagine a weekly comedy show. He imagined it, and to us, it was a little crazy.
By taking the young ones who are...
But because he was a lecturer, he dared. He dared. And he said, you know what, if we get space and we have the talents, we can experiment. We shall get a formula. If we don't get a formula, we shall know. You can tell the formula is nowhere.
Yeah.
Then maybe we can figure out another way. He handpicked talents, and we started figuring out how to do a weekly comedy show. Back then,
which never existed before.
It never existed.
Wow.
There was no weekly comedy shows.
Yeah.
Theater was linear stories. You go sit, watch Afri Talent do a play called Nabasangawa, and you seated for 4 hours watching. It was fun. It was entertaining. But how do you stand out if you want now to also start? You have to bring something new.
Yeah.
There's always a younger audience.
Yes.
Always. Or there's always an existing audience that has not seen something new.
Wow.
So he dared. He put us in the thick of things. We tried, and in about 1.5 years, a formula had been gotten.
Wow.
After a few 1-2 years, TV saw the value of the show, adopted the show, put it on NTV. The rest was history. So I think with experiences like that, it takes, don't limit the imagination.
Yeah.
Whatever is trending, imagine it in a better way.
Yeah.
It will spark your creativity.
Yeah.
Then you have to dare. You have to dare. You have seen how hard it is for people to take on new ideas.
Yes.
Then you compare the rigidity they had when the idea had just come and how much they are enjoying it after a span of time.
Yeah.
Because when we started weekly comedy shows, the ones in the city, even the audience was like, wow.
Who is going to watch this thing?
I mean, which Ugandan is going to make me laugh for 2 hours on a weekly basis? So it was a case of, you come.
Yes.
If you don't like, it's okay. The next week, they bring 2 other friends.
Yes.
It was word of mouth, word of mouth. By the time the entire world learned about the weekly comedy show, it had grown to 4 people at TLC to 1,000 people in the upper gardens of the National Theatre.
Wow.
Yeah, but now the trick is Now it is we
Yes.
who also have to
Continue
reinvent it.
Yeah, or the innovation has to be continued being oiled by the creativity, as you said. Wow. Well, we are talking about, you know, how do we, you know, creativity, how do we make money out of creativity? How can creativity make businesses successful in Uganda? You know, Richard is giving us a masterclass with Faizo on this one here, something that you've talked about that people don't usually take very seriously, Richard. I've had people say, I want to show me the numbers. I only see 1 or 2 people. Show me the numbers. And you've just unpacked the whole mystery behind the numbers. That 4 people is now 1,500.
Yes.
But it did not start with 1,500.
True.
And for me, something that I've learned from you right now is that if you continue being consistent with whatever you are doing, if you dare, you repeated the word, if you dare, you said it 3 times, then it's going to pay off. But many times we don't know how to keep the consistency of daring to do something new.
We give up very easily.
And one time a young person told me, says, well, boss, I'm not going to eat creativity. So, and so off he walked the door. And he says, the Nagala Sente, if you don't have money, kindness is not going to pay me. I don't want to eat this. But that's a story of everyone. So Richard Tiwanje, Faizo Chiwewa, we're going to have to let Faizo run for his meeting. We are now talking about the global village.
You know,
Faizo has been on the show, is running for his next meeting in Belgium, where he caught a train this morning. Imagine the day we can do that in Kampala. We'll catch a train to be in Congo, to do a show in Congo, in Tanzania.
It shall come. That time will come. I hope we shall be alive.
Yes.
We are going to contribute to the coming of those things.
Exactly.
It's a fantastic time to be alive.
Yes, so we're going to take another break, and when we come back, Richard Tiwanje and I are going to continue with the show until the end, while we're missing Faizo, you know, who is running for his meeting. Stay right there, Creative Industry. We'll be back after this break. Young people at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
Prince.
Be applicable to most of us in the industry. One, most of them want to work with an institution, or let's say a registered company. They want to come to Faizo, and Faizo is Bayimba, but they want to talk to him as Bayimba. You know what I'm saying? So there's a way they do their things because of probably how their structure is designed. You know, so maybe we also as creatives, we need to have, what's the right word? We need to have, or to put that effort, see ourselves organized. Okay. I think that's the problem we have. We're everywhere.
And nowhere.
And nowhere at the same time. When Faizo suggests that, hey guys, I have given you a week, come to the island, let's brainstorm about how we can make these things work. One is going to go like, I don't know if Faizo. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, our idea is
then
going to just take an idea.
Then he goes and whatever. You see it. So we've got all these kind of hurdles. And I think why the corporates are probably not even coming in to give a hand is because they don't even know where to start from. They don't know where. Bababu's auntie, for example, if they ask filmmakers, Muliwa, where do they go to?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
They have nowhere to go.
Yeah, I think they have nowhere to go to. Then, of course, we have UCC. I think UCC, that's one of the biggest hurdles we have.
It's about, collect this from these guys.
Yes,
not be part of the
that's
process
quite
of the growth.
unfortunate.
Yes.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I pray that we sit with them on one table and make this work.
Yeah.
That's why I think probably, and that's the biggest reason. That's why I think the corporate department hasn't come.
Welcome back from that break. I hope you've gotten a little bit of what we have been talking about here. There's that discussion with Musta in where we're talking about creative spaces in Uganda. For the first time in the history of Uganda, we actually have a creative space, Richard, in Uganda. Yeah. There are 2 creative spaces for creative people to go. So you don't longer now need to put on your backpack and you wear your shorts and enter the restaurant and then you think, mulalo una tu se. Because you're wearing shorts, you've entered in a high-profile, sort of like restaurant and
give
stuff
you the
like
food
that.
bill and the account bill.
Yes, at the same time, and then you go. So we're talking about that on the show, creative spaces, and we wanted to connect this to this business discussion that we're having. Richard, thank you very much, first of all, for the last part of the show. I want to take you straight to, what does creativity bring to business success, in your opinion?
Creativity allows you to stay ahead of the pack. It helps you become the trendsetter. Humankind is set in a way that they will always have a thing for the pioneer of things. Yeah. So we see it, if you think about these big corporations we see in Uganda and how they advertise and the different promotions they bring, you will somehow the target market will always have the pioneer front of mind. So for me, creativity, that is how important it is, because you will get the masters, you'll be an A-lister on the papers. But if you do not know how to channel, because there is not one company in the arts or in business, as we know it, there's not a company that hires more than 10 people, and all of them are not creative. There is always creativity in a company. But every organization has to have a leader that knows how to harness that creativity.
That's the point. That right there, you've spoken it.
Yes, because it's man. Our society, sometimes I think it is in our conditioning, in our bringing up, when people attain positions of leadership. They wear the boss clock, instead of,
a servant person,
that is when now you need to be part of the other ones and know who is going to be coupled with who to achieve something. Creativity is all over the place. Harnessing it is a challenge.
So in other words, you're saying every business needs to have that one leader, that one person who harnesses the creativity in the team that they have in order for that business to be successful.
Yes, if they don't have that leader might come and go, but a system has to be created, or activities. It could be just activities, regular activities, that if a consistency is kept, a lot of our ideas will bounce off creative people and create one big thing.
Wow. Well, that is one takeaway from Richard right there. How can businesses harness from creativity to be successful in Uganda? Richard, let's dive to the next one. I want to just go to this next question. Why is creativity very important for the success of our business, in your opinion? Why is creativity very important for the success of our businesses?
For me, creativity is I'll take you a little bit back from what I mentioned. Is you don't want to start something yeah, for just starting sake. Businesses have to grow. Businesses have to grow in revenue and in how many lives a business touches.
Yeah.
You know, so creativity is very important for growth, because business is not about just growth of revenue. Creativity is very important for growth of any kind of organization.
In other words, Richard, you're saying, even as an individual, if I am not creative, there's nowhere, I can't wear this exact same shirt over and over. Even Balaam had to change his t-shirt at some point. We're used to Balaam wearing one type of t-shirt, and then at some point he had to change. So you're saying that we've got to be, it's important, creativity is important in business success as good as in an individual life, that we are reinventing ourselves over and over, and we're thinking about these things over and over. Richard, in that context, how does creativity facilitate the business growth, or how can it facilitate a business growth in Uganda? Take, for example, you guys of the Fun Factory. You started at the backyard of Kampala, and now you are in the city of Johannesburg, and, you know, springing out from there and going to the rest of Africa.
Yes.
And I'm sure soon enough, somebody's going to see you from Hollywood and say, these guys, Annington was here and was telling us how you're producing, you know, 14 different skits every single week. He says that we are the only group in the entire Africa who has managed to do this.
Yeah, yeah, entire Africa.
Yeah.
And then in the world, I think it's only Fun Factory and Saturday Night Live that do a weekly sketch comedy show. Maybe somewhere in the Orientals, Japan, you know, but sketch comedy. New show every week. Every week. I think that contributes to why, you know, we worked out a formula. We've been working together for a long time.
Yeah.
We figured out each other's strengths, and we know I could be good, but I'm better when I'm with Dixon Zizinga.
Yeah.
Because I know exactly how I and him can gel well together and create something bigger than if he did a skit on his own. Yeah. So that tags into what I explained earlier. You know, creativity is there, harnessing it can be a problem. It is very easy to have Fun Factory and not to have a breakthrough till now. Yeah, because humans are humans. You have to know the creativity alone cannot be the winning horse. Yeah. So you were saying, how does it facilitate business growth? Yeah. I think, you know, whether we like it or not, whether formally or informally, we research. We research. Some people start businesses because they went around, they had, it is basically accidental research.
Yes.
But if we in the creative business accept and manage our creative business as well as businesses are managed, because it is a business, then we need to research.
So research and development is equally very important.
When you research and you know exactly what they want, and you already have this creativity, it will just boom.
Wow.
Because for us now, you know, Ugandans are the only kind of talents that can entertain all English-speaking Africa. Yeah. Not a lot of people are watching Nigerian movies here.
Yes.
Like they used to. Yeah? Now they are watching our content. Yes. But our research shows that when Ugandan dramas go to West Africa, West Africans find our dramas more superior.
Yes. To theirs.
To theirs.
Actually, a friend of mine, Uti Nwachuku, who was in Big Brother, wrote to me one time and was saying the same thing. Yeah.
Now, you see, I'm going to tell you two stories here that will surprise you. But it is such research, not you know, formally commissioned, that now allows us to even open the you know, target wider. Yes. You know, because Zambia, Malawi, Ghana, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, even South Africa and Tanzania and Kenya can be our audience. Because before lockdown, we used to stream our show for 2 hours. And little did we know, it was Zambians and Malawians that were making the numbers. Yes. Until you act in Uganda, then you see comments. Banang, please go back to English. Yes. Then when you check their profiles, Malawi, Zambia, Kenya, Rwanda. Yeah.
Yes.
It is that good for us. to capitalize on. That there's a time we had a TV drama called The Hostel, and it was airing on all Africa Magic channels at some point. So Ghana and Nigeria were watching. A friend of mine called me and told me, Richard, I'm going to win a bet here of $300. The Ghanaians who I'm watching The Hostel with think you guys are Zimbabwean. They think Uganda cannot produce this kind of stuff. He told them, wait for the credits and you will see. He won the bet, long story cut short. $300. And he told me, Richard, make it a point to create for English-speaking West Africa. And, well, that we knew years ago. But the resources to achieve that, the only way, the best way to do it is to now entertain Africa digitally. So now, Fun Factory might need Eddie as a consultant. So really, I don't think creativity alone can be a winning horse. Research and development, and then you know, okay, we can create in this line, but the money, according to what we now know, will come from Rwanda and Kenya and Tanzania.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. You've heard from Richard. In fact, I want to allow Richard to read this by himself. This is probably the longest of a comment here. I want you to read that comment loud to everyone. This is coming because sometimes when I read the comment, people say yes.
This is thanks a lot, Mr. Richard, Tuanje, Kofi, and Chiwewa. I still think more thought should be put into which word is this?
Just want to
delineating
the arts,
and cultural sector, creative sector, and separate it from the umbrella creative industry, especially to support policy and decision making. A businessman selling healthcare products is part of the healthcare industry, but not a healthcare professional simply because healthcare is well delineated. Please excuse us if we don't pronounce
delineating very well.
I'm from Chiruhura. You cannot run away from yourself. It makes sense that we clearly delineate. I think it's delineate the arts and culture sector. From the big umbrella creative industry. Wouldn't you agree? It is also possible. This is more academic and less practical. I agree with him.
I also agree with him.
I really agree with him. We need to delineate it. We need to create a proper lane for the creative the arts and cultural sector. Though it's fueled by creativity, but it's the arts and culture sector. What we can just say is, at some point, if creativity has to help business growth, some basics don't change.
Which is always a constant. And then Richard, I want to just put this to my brother there. Thank you very much. First of all, my brother, Mr. Keith Nyende, you raised a fantastic point right there. And teacher Mpaire says, I love this conversation. So that's a
by the way, Keith, I know Keith is one of the brightest cultural entrepreneurs in our times. That guy was the brainchild behind Nyege Nyege. He was the first person to imagine wider and dare to do a festival on the Nile.
And thank you very much, Keith. Thank you very much, Teacher Mpare, for being a part of the show. I want to dive straight to a comment coming all the way from Australia. Dennis in Australia is always a constant guy watching the show. Eddie Okila, thank you very much for bringing Richard Coffey onto the show. Is one of my favorite actors out of Uganda. He keeps me out of home, happy. I am glued to, watching the Fun Factory all the way. I live in Sydney. And thank you very much for bringing these guys always on the show. Tell Richard to continue channeling out the things that I love. And people don't understand that this particular discussion is good for us because we don't usually get sort of like the interesting ideas that come out of Uganda. There's no TV that looks after the people who are in the diaspora. So Richard, shout out to you.
We're just having that conversation because you came back.
And I want to go to a WhatsApp message here coming from the US. First of all, shout out to Coach Anthony Ndaula, and of course, you know, my professor from another mother, Professor Penny Nachayo, Assistant Professor for Design Communication, Washington University. Ugandans are in big places.
You are rubbing shoulders with the...
And
I need to get in touch with that one.
And you know, she always said that we need to come with a design identity for Uganda.
That's...
Design identity for Uganda. So, Professor Penny Nachayo, thank you so much. Yes.
That is very important.
And Anthony Ndaula, I want to dive out to JB Atine all the way in Belgium, says he's always loving the discussion. JB is into the IT sector in Belgium, and these are big people doing serious consultancy in you know, outside countries, and we say it in Uganda. Guys, shout out to all of you guys. I want to go straight to my brother from another mother in Denmark. Eddie Okila, thank you very much for bringing Richard to Wanje. Faisal and Richard today nailed the show. I wish Faisal wasn't running. I would want to hear more coming from those fellows about how we can actually make money out of creativity. Most businesses in Kampala, back in Kampala, think that creative people are crazy, but no one will buy a tomato that is packed in a sack, but I will buy a tomato which is nicely packaged and put in a kavera that I can see with a label made out of Uganda or product of Uganda. That's what creativity does.
Wow.
Wow.
You know, and you see, simple. It's just usually a simple twist.
Yes.
Yeah, that creates another breakthrough.
Yes.
And you see, most of the creative ideas that change the world or change sectors or bring in new trends, you look at the idea and you're like, whoa, how is it that I didn't think about that? You know?
Because the smallest thing, Richard, are usually the most difficult thing to people to say. That's why creative people needs to be paid money.
Yes,
because the thing that you're looking at it as very small is usually the biggest thing that people are looking for. And I want to dive straight to South Africa before we we need to go back and finish the show. That gentleman on the show is my best actor in that comedy show. I am a guy who love watching the things. It's an amazing to see him at that calm, that professional, and out of the stage, out of character. And actually discussing how we can take things. I'm a Ugandan living in South Africa. This channel is my place to be.
Wow.
And thank you very much, guys. I want to just take Richard back to the show. I told you to send your kisses, and this is coming. If you think we're not doing well, please diss us. If you think we're doing well, kiss us. Richard, this discussion, I know it's going to be a very important discussion to most people. And of course, we're going to be looking more into having a discussion with you going forward. How does creativity, Richard, or rather, my last question to you actually for the day, why is creativity very important for an entrepreneur? The world describes Uganda as the most entrepreneurial country in the world.
Yes.
But Ugandan businesses that are usually started, as they always say, die before they see the next birthday. In fact, to me, we don't go beyond 6 months of our existence. And people always wondering that Ugandans are very creative, they're very entrepreneurial, but how businesses don't go beyond that. Richard, there's a university or an organization that did research, studies about entrepreneurship, you know, about Uganda as being the most culturally diverse country in the world.
True.
And I think the Virgin, you know, sort of like paid money for that research to come out. Now, all of this research is about Uganda, it's about the people out of Uganda, it's about Africa, it's about, why is it that our businesses don't go beyond that? And today we're talking about creativity for business success in Uganda. Yes. My last question to you for the show is, why is creativity important for an entrepreneur? Because most people start businesses and think that they're just going to run. I don't need a designer, I don't need a copywriter.
That's true. It is very important for an, you know, at the core, the simple basic of being an entrepreneur is you're presenting something new, or you're solving a big problem in a new way, that is, maybe you're making it comfortable for your target audience, or cheaper, you know, or you have basically killed or presented something new to buy and give people an experience. Because I think we can never think from the standpoint of the entrepreneur. We have to think from also the standpoint of the buyer.
Yes.
You know, what is the experience? or what is the convenience that you are causing.
Yeah.
Now that means you cannot come and do exactly what has been around.
Yeah.
Now for me, in my thinking,
Yeah.
I think that is the biggest problem with entrepreneurs or business startups.
Yeah.
There's a syndrome we have as Ugandans. We come to fit in.
Yeah.
We want to fit in. You think you can be a good singer, you come to fit in into what is happening. You think you can enter the whatever kind of business, you come to fit in, not to present it in a better or different way or convenient way for the end consumer. So for me, that is the challenge. Now, if you are not going to fit in, you need to have creativity. You need to work with teams. Like I told you, Fun Factory is made of like 10, 12 very creative minds. But Dixon's creativity amplifies mine, or mine gels well with his, and a big product is created. Dixon alone can earn all the money he wants if he's well managed. And I can. But if we figure out,
come together,
what we want to bring on the table, if we want to sell it to, say, entire Uganda and Bantu-speaking, Africa, then we have to put together a team and hit it. So for me, don't fit in. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you don't have to fit in. Twist what has been around. And how are you going to do it if you don't get creative teams together? But I don't know, we need a creative hub in Uganda where this is my idea, but I need a brain like Okilas, then I need so and so. Where we are so weak also in Uganda is we are so weak on partnerships.
Because we're very individualistic in our nature, in our thinking. We're quite very myopic and quite very mediocre-ish in a way of doing things, if the word exists. I'm talking about the word mediocrity striving where there's ignorance.
In Uganda, man, mediocrity is a standard. It is a standard, as in they hit it like chukumie.
Well, guys, I told you this show is going to be very interesting. Richard, we're going to bring the show to a close. Creativity for innovation and profit. What's your score?
Creativity for innovation
and profit. Yes, what's your score?
How I've done over the years.
Yes.
I think I am happy that I am above average. 6, and I know now how to earn the other portion that I have not.
The 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Man, it is a good thing to be consistent. Along the way, we had many reasons to give up, man. Many reasons to give up. But man, bro, if you have a dream, if you see what it can be 10 years from where you're standing, it gives you a reason to keep going. While you think it is big, you might even hit it in 4 years, and then so let's say I'm there, 6.57. You're going to be seeing what we are creating. By the way, personally, I'm happy COVID came.
So it wasn't really negative as everybody put it.
No. For example, it's because we are not here to specifically talk about what we did, or is it okay?
Please, yes.
When we went for total lockdown, it hit us. We had a weekly comedy show at the National Theatre. Every week we do 52 shows. A year, fresh new shows. Then we have for the affluent Kampala who wants to pay 100,000 shillings. Then we have some at the Serena that reports there. But now this is total lockdown. We went into lockdown. We thought it was going to be 1 month. It became 2. It became 3.
90 days became 140.
Towards the end towards the end of the second month, we figured things were not going to be the same again. So we got what our craft and what we used to produce. It was the raw material we used to churn out comedy shows. So we decided now to use this craft to produce content that fits the times, awareness about the COVID. But the water had to be comedy. We had to crack people up.
The ingredient was was that.
We had to crack people up. They needed to laugh in their
The
houses.
world was stressed. The world needed some laughters.
You know, when we went into lockdown, our videos would have, say, 100,000 views from the previous night. Yeah, 100,000 from the previous night. But now, during total lockdown, when we started putting out really funny content, that is bearing, had a bearing around the COVID-19. You put it up, and in 24 hours, it has 600,000 viewers. So we went on with that. And when we started, partners were watching, not partners then, partners now.
Because they never come at the beginning of it. Most have said they need to come now, because if they're not part of us now. In fact, Pfizer said,
by the
if
time
the corporates don't come now, we don't need the corporate. We will be corporation ourselves.
But you see, we have a big part to play on teaching them how powerful, how really powerful the arts are in driving business. Because
which is the essence of this show today.
You know,
please.
And you see, for us, that is how we have survived, by using the craft now in a different space. So we did that. MasterCard came on board, Traweza, and that's how we've been doing it. Now, why I say we need to teach now the business sector how important the arts are. I do advertising copywriting. Sometimes I sit in boardrooms and they are giving me briefs, and they really want an ad that can touch people, not just communicate. But most cases, you go through a session of schooling them on why what you're creating will work. Because it is, I'm not saying it in a bad way, but most people who preside over big offices that make decisions on how a product is going to be communicated with the brand, we still have a lot of them who operate textbook. Proper textbook.
It's a standard operating procedure.
Yes, these are the parameters. But we guys know the temperature of the audiences.
And the consumers.
Yes, so you have to tell them, if you really want to do mass market, we are going to get off this lane a bit, put one foot this side. So there's always that fear of risking, because they are not managing their own money, some of them.
And they often take back the budget. Navi was here on the CEO bench, and he says, I really get mad when the marketing manager is taking back the budget meant for marketing, and he's taking it back. That person should be fired, because why would you be given a budget for market things and you're taking it back? Well, Richard, thank you very much for coming to the show today. We will definitely be bringing you back next week to discuss the importance of creativity in making businesses successful. We've started the drumming of these things. What are the importance of business, of creativity in business, and how can we harness that, processes and the importance of that to make businesses more successful in Uganda? Everyone is crying in Uganda or in Africa or across the world, but I think that we can do something that will allow us to get there, allow us to understand how we can use creativity for businesses to be successful in Uganda. Once again, I want to say thank you so much for coming to the show. And of course to Faizo, your final parting shot. By the way, excuse me, you are heavily, requested to come on the show by so many people. When we started the creative spaces, and we brought, most to talk about the creative spaces, and Faizo is a resident panelist here. They said the next topic, when you're moving away from creative spaces, you need to bring people who are going to tell us how creativity can be used in business for it to be successful. And overall, there was a lot of nomination for you to come onto the show. There's a lot of vote for, my brother from another mother, Jeremy Biemanzi, to come on the show. Wow. And our job is to make sure you come to the program.
That is very flattering, because I don't think I've informed myself very well, but I'm on that path.
Yes.
But what I know is, we are not in a bad place, but there's a lot of growth we can achieve. And most importantly, we need to inspire the generations that are coming after us, because we have a generation that really wants things to be easy. When
and
we want,
if they're not grounded, it might be very problematic.
Lucky enough, they are in a time where actually things can get easier than they were for us. If they get to know the basics and what to do while you keep the patients on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Richard. Creative industry has come to an end, but we want to close up the show by allowing Richard. He said at the beginning of the show that he's doesn't know whether he's a musician or he's a singer, so we want to know. He's going to close up the show with that part
Oh my God.
of the show. Is he a musician or a singer? You're going to vote for yourself. Over to you, Richard.
I'm a singer who sings for fun.
Yes.
Yes. So I get surprised when people pay. But anyway,
Yes.
do you know I started out as a singer?
Yes.
It's something I shocked myself.
Yes, and
I
also
song
see what
recorded and
the
became a
talent you
hit.
had in you. Yes.
Had I known what I know now,
Yes.
eh?
Yes.
Then
Yes.
I don't know, I would have had to fly in for this interview.
All right, guys, the creative industry, it's a wrap from us here. Richard Ediokila, Faizo Chiwewa in Belgium, and to all of you guys all across the world, we want to say thank you. And to the crew here that makes this camera and the lighting and the things looks really beautiful, we want to say thank you. It is a teamwork, not Okila work, that makes things happen. Until next week, we'll be talking about the importance of creativity in making businesses successful, both in Uganda and all across the world. Stay right there. We'll be right back next week. Signing out, Ediokila, Richard, Faizo. It's a wrap.
Thank you.
Young people at the moment are struggling to understand the older generation because times have changed. Technology has come in.
They've moved on.
Yes.
We're the ones sitting back and wondering, what is my child on to? TikTok has surpassed WhatsApp. The other one I call, I never call it Facebook, it's Bookface. Why are you on Bookface? Dad, it's Facebook.
Yes.
Me, I keep saying, I have a foot amongst the millennials.
Yeah.
And I understand the traditionalists.
Okay.
There's a song in the 60s, by the way, and in the 90s, 70s, where they're like, parents don't understand.
Yes.
Remember Prince?
Yes.
The private sector is not yet fully utilized because not everybody can be employed by government. And we are looking at a future whereby more people are employed in the private sector than in government. So I think if we all work hard, if we all work together and